Hopefully not catching a weird bit of lag, but hopefully you guys will get to see this. Let us know if there's anything weird from audio. I am joined here with producer Juan being the meat between our buns, and Keith down there at the bottom keeping us based.
Nice to meet you.
As he is our base.
Nice to meet you.
But let us know if we have any audio issues or any lagging. Please yell at us in the comment section here. Bandit did indeed win first. The hot dogs and swords is a bit concerning, only because the more I read into it, the more sussy it gets. Chris Kaufman is indeed second, and Christy C is third. Joe, he said donuts or donuts. Pretty sure it's donuts, spelt D-O-N-U-T-S. But dough nuts might make a bit more sense. That's interesting. I gotta look back. There's probably some like weird like origin for it. It's like Dutch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Sticks, what's going on? Patty B or Pat B. Let's just add Patty for fun. Pat B, it's good to see
Patty.
you. It's B too, so I don't even get that excuse. The Dan Hammer is indeed in the chat. Thank you for showing up today. Andrew Sawyer gave the Olympic rings, but in a straight line. This is likely how I would draw them. Sarah is in the chat. Jordan Sutton, he said 10th. That's probably somewhat accurate. Redwood Correctional Facility, bonjour to you as well. It's not a blank thing because that doesn't feel like a blank.
No, I think that's
name.
I think it's a video game reference of some kind.
Maybe.
Because I looked it up last time he was here.
Mr. Toastar.
I thought it was an actual correctional facility.
You never know. Well, like
It wasn't.
Somebody did Raccoon City PD the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's top notch." Mom is in the chat, otherwise known as DG. Sam is also here. Patty Woo. That is an actual Patty. What is going on? Nathaniel. He said frog cops. Garrett Lemaire. Does that sound correct? That feels correct. What's up? My first live stream. Been binging y'all for a while. Oh, binging. Is it binging?
Binging. He's been binging us.
Binging?
Yes, it's binging.
You might be binging out.
Is there no E in binging?
Binge. I mean, there is.
It's binging.
So that wasn't just me being weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the usual suspect for like not spelling or like reading things correctly. So Garrett, welcome to the live stream.
Apparently it is. Oh, here we go. Is it binging or binging? Both. Apparently they're both acceptable with or without the E. So there you go.
English.
English. I think it's because it's a made-up word.
David Hardy, it is good to see you. And then Pouty AM, another Bill stream. Yes, Bill is off gallivanting in the universe here. Also, Chris Kaufman, my dog. Is Bill dead? No. Bill better not be. I'd be very.
He's in Paris. He's helping secure the Olympics for everybody.
Exactly. Also notorious.
If you saw the bearded dude in all blue in the middle of that plate, that was Bill.
God bless it. Boom 11 said, "What up, guys? Thought I'd share some love." Boom. We were just talking about the old Phasmophobia days, and like the Patrol Simulator days, and Boom 11's a total G.
Bro, Patrol Simulator was.
That was a long time ago.
Awful.
It was almost 3 years. So, anyways, today for the uninitiated, I have literally watched. No, I watched 20 minutes worth of the Olympics because I was getting my hair cut.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to sports clips, and that's all they had on the TV. I haven't watched anything of it, but it's kind of like semi a big deal.
I watched a little ping pong because I was at a restaurant.
There's a lot of
that was interesting.
Political hijinks. A lot of people have either boycotted it or not been invited or whatever.
Every time.
That's what I'm getting at. That's also kind of more
every
of
single thing that happens ever now.
Yeah.
Like I could stub my toe tomorrow, and somebody would be like, "That was your left foot."
Yep. How dare you? You're like inference that you mean something by it. That was your pinky toe. How dare you?
Political statement.
Does Bill have a body double? No, nobody could impersonate that man. Woo! What's going on as well? Anyways, so we're gonna cover some law enforcement related, I guess, Olympic stuff, and then I have some other stuff. I want to give a big special shout out to the now we're at 14,100 plus subscribers that we have. Shout out to all of them.
Nice.
They have made this channel a little bit easier despite us getting content taken down. YouTube has removed some stuff for all of even Bill and Juan more specifically are human and cannot win all of our legal battles behind closed doors. However, if you would like to see all of our stuff unabridged, you can join our Patreon group. Our Patreon is as little as $1 a month, and that gives you direct access to our Discord. And our Discord is where also all of these videos got recommended to us. So shout out to them. I also want to thank all of our YouTube members. You can become a member in YouTube, both of which will give you access to some sort of merch. They fulfill a little bit differently, but we wanted to give people their own way to support the channel. I do appreciate everybody that does that. Brian Miner. I don't care about sports. Olympics is overly boring. Sports.
I wanted to watch the soccer matches, but everything's in the morning, and I don't wake up in time.
That's the only other, like, I think they're doing the winter one here, I think, somewhere. But when you're not in the same time zone,
I actually prefer it when they have it, when it's happening, like, overnight, so they repeat it, like, in the afternoon, so I can rewatch it.
Or just catch the
watching
highlights.
it in the morning. Yeah, because watching it in the morning, I'm not going to wake up.
So anyways, shout out to Paris. What a lot of people don't realize, and I'll give you guys a short story time. Scott Carlisle, dude, what's going on? Welcome to being a member of our channel. Thank you for joining. Also, Christian Halsey, what's going on?
Come to the Discord.
Yes, come to the Discord. If you don't get a link directly, send us a message on Instagram. We'll get you a link. I got to be on duty for the USA-Mexico game.
Ooh,
in our city, and it was the worst idea of all time. Like, it was, from a logistic standpoint, awful. From like a city employee having to deal with the fallout of it being there, but I'm sure the city, I can't imagine the city got any money out of that, but there's some prestige or something, I'm sure.
Well,
it just
from
cost
the soccer
a
games,
lot.
I would say maybe, just because, like,
we had to shut down.
You don't have to, like, completely rework your entire city to make it. You didn't have to, like, build a stadium for it.
Yeah, we had to move 4 different streets into one-ways. These were normally 3 lanes in each direction. We turned them all into one-ways, which is wild. And then...
Just sounds like downtown Dallas.
It was wild. I'm sure they made money. That there's got to be some reason why they wanted to do it, but it was...
I mean...
It was wild. That was a wild... Anyways, this is probably that on steroids because it's happening all across your country. I think they said something like 15 million people went to this in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I think they actually ended up with only 11, and they were kind of upset about it because they were expecting a lot more tourists, and then nobody actually wanted to go.
That's way worse.
So
because that means you bought for that.
losing like $100 million off of it because they were expecting 15 and they're only getting 11.
Flights and all that stuff.
A bunch of people are like, it's pretty empty in Paris. It's like, yeah. Well, y'all kept having news about people pooping in the river. I don't think it made it very...
Stop screwing around with their currency. Shout out to this. Hopefully YouTube doesn't just nuke this. Thank you for Christian Halsey for monetizing what's likely going to be immediately struck down the second we stop streaming.
Leave to Paris, officers with the Fairfax County Police have been invited to work alongside French law enforcement.
Also, it's never a good sign as far as capability when you were like, please God, come help us. Like we do not have the manpower. We barely speak the same language, which means the French guys are speaking whatever version of English they've learned, right? Because most of the time, most Europeans, you have to have at least bilingual for you to even communicate with people in neighboring countries. Typically, a lot of people will be trilingual, being that English is typically like the common tongue amongst
it's the business
visitors.
Language. It's how you transact.
Yep.
Between
so
like
a lot of businesses that are coming in, a lot of different like also contract laborers. Like you'll get a lot that'll come from America, and like they might even be from China, but they're used to dealing with Americans, so they'll all collectively just speak English. So. Shout out to Firefly for getting that wrong. They thought it would be Chinese. But anyways,
it's too hard to learn.
It is. You already have a language barrier, and then there's likely a training gap and an equipment gap. You got to think radios are not going to be synced. Shout out to the Secret Service for learning that the hard way.
I think one of the shorts will show, because I picked this one and then one of the shorts that actually just shows you like a bunch of them back to back that'll show the equipment differences.
It's going to be wildly different. And so SOPs are going to be different. I wouldn't know the first thing about French law. I'm like, so he's PI, but is that kosher here? Or like what's a threat? Like, I don't understand. Like, when do I get to punch this guy? Like, it's very different.
News 4's Juliana Valencia caught up with the group before they fly out.
A group huddle with the chief before this crew heads to Paris. An invitation to serve alongside some of the best departments in the U.S. NYPD, LAPD, and the LA Sheriff's Department.
How much was she paid to say that? How much do you think they lobbied for her to have to say those words?
Keith, if you were drafting for like the all-star team for law enforcement, I'm not saying there's probably incredibly good police officers that work there. These are busy cities, right? Or busy jurisdictions. But like, if I had to blindly pull from their ranks, it'd be like walking through a minefield there, dog. Like half of them are PR nightmares. But they probably like handpicked who was coming into these.
So our mission at the Olympics,
they picked the top tier: NYPD, LAPD, and Fairfax, Washington.
Sure, certainly to represent the county, the national capital region, and America. But they're actually working, and they're partnering with the French police to keep people safe.
12 officers were selected, including a K-9 unit already there. That's K-9 Presley in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, sniffy dog.
And
Okay, good.
Officer Vince Bello.
Bro.
Look at the hat.
This guy's a total dweeb. What is this hat? What are you working at In-N-Out? Like, what is going on here?
It's Good Burger. I guess it's Good Baguette, home of the Good Baguette.
He said Good Baguette. There's a lot of Velcro, dog. This is kind of weird. He's an armed police officer.
He needs pockets for his wine and cigarettes.
I bet they can smoke on duty. Keith, could you ever smoke on duty or do tobacco products on duty, Keith?
Yes, but I never smoked.
He said yes. I was
Remember, county issued it to us.
Dip guy.
They really did? Did they for real?
No.
Oh, I was like, what? I was like, bro, like, I know we're far apart, but good Lord. For morale, here's some cigarettes.
Community pool of tobacco products.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I do.
There's a guy in the bathroom that hands it to you, like the guys that hand you gum at clubs.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting, though. So this is relatively like GWAT era, like plate carriers here. Where this guy's got a much more modern outer vest that's clearly like a lot more. He's also carrying a lot less equipment. This is a guy used to working out of a car. This is a guy who's used to doing foot patrol. And it shows because he has to carry everything. Like anything and everything that he would need needs to be on his person. So as much as I'm roasting him right now, at the same time, he likely might not have a vehicle to retrieve this from. Especially if you're talking about like downtown Paris, very similar to what you'll get like in like downtown New York and places like that where they have foot patrol. But I will say, I mean, the guy looks fine. The guy looks great. I do like his morale patch here. I don't know what the hell that is, but
I don't know. It
looks like an air regulator or something.
There are going to be inevitably some.
You think so?
It looks like it.
I trust you.
We are going to be involved in France, where we're doing police work with the French police.
It's an air freshener because they don't shower.
I guess the French police would be deputizing them because you're not sworn or certified by any French anything.
I would think you probably don't have like even arrest powers. You're basically glorified security.
Kind of what I'm getting at is like you don't really have any
authority really.
I couldn't go be a cop in Oklahoma. Because I have no experience or certifications blessed by the state of Oklahoma. So I'm sure some would cross over. They might give me like continuing education credit or whatever, but like there's a whole recertification process and all that. Not to mention another country altogether. That's a weird.
And to identify potential bad actors or unsafe scenarios.
You're experts.
With this many people gathering.
Preparation for Paris.
We did a briefing last week on explosive devices.
Briefing isn't training.
Training with the French police to know what our mission is going to be over there.
Their main duties will include working with Paris police officers to provide security near Olympic venues, the metro stations, and assisting any spectator that may need help.
To be out there and wear this Fairfax County police uniform and take a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so I'm super excited.
The officers will be working 3 days on and 3 days off. So as a former D1 basketball player, Officer Good is hoping to check out some basketball games. Now, they're going to be in Fairfax County. Juliana Valencia.
Kind of fun while they're there at some point. I mean, I would.
That's a weird detail. It's cool. Like, I'm hating from outside the club here because I never got invited to go anywhere. But David.
Hey, Keith, your mic is doing the thing where it just goes.
Or a steakhouse. I bet the food there is probably pretty rad though. Rental cops for real, boom.
Oh yeah. Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, literally. Dude, I want that. That's kind of based if they're giving out service related cigarettes. That's kind of based. Dan's all mad. Dan's mad with me. I'm here for it.
Heavily armored vehicles in the streets of Paris
I
on
wonder
Thursday.
if like the French government subsidizes that, or if it's just like a deal.
I bet they donate the time, like the police department, because we'll do it. For instance, like if a hurricane hits like Houston really bad or areas like that, you'll have adjacent police departments that'll just take it out of because it's budget. I'm already paying for those police officers to be somewhere. You'll either take it out of your overtime budget or whatever, but you'll send able-bodied people basically, but that are pre-background checked, and there's some way of holding them accountable if misconduct does happen. That is the one nice thing about sending a police officer. Is there is a chain of command, and if there's a complaint, like it's pretty obvious, like you're in the uniform, you have a badge number, they're going to know that you're assigned to that area. It would be very easy to hold you accountable versus just Joe Blow that shows up in a tent to get a t-shirt. So at least I can understand that.
Did not go unnoticed. They
State
belong
of
to
Qatar?
Qatar police officers, one of the first group of foreign reinforcements to take up residence in France for the upcoming Olympic Games. Among their missions will be to boost the numbers of sniffer dogs trained to find explosive objects. Doha, proud to communicate their involvement, broadcast these images before 105 of their officers left for Paris.
France took part in securing...
Okay, I was like, I hope they translate this because I don't understand at all what he's saying. Kayla, what's going on?
World Cup in Qatar 2 years ago. It was also involved in securing Olympic Games in Asia. So there's no surprises. Qatar simply likes to make it known.
Qatar is one of the 40 countries sending reinforcements to Paris at France's request, with 1,750 foreign police in total. Spain will be the biggest contributor ahead of the UK and Germany. A month ago, French and Spanish units simulated a terrorist attack in a joint exercise to prepare.
Oh my God, they have a FAMAS. That's kind of rad.
For the Games. The Spanish forces are particularly sought after for their expertise in fighting jihadism. Paris has drawn up a list.
They're SWAT teams, not their police officers. They need to calm down. You need to take it down a notch, okay?
Of security requirements.
American service members are really good at taking down terrorist cells. Like, no, that's SEAL Team 6, not us, okay? Like, chill.
To prepare for the estimated 15 million visitors.
Anti-drug specialists, canine brigades, foreign police specializing in intelligence gathering.
The foreign police officers will work in pairs with their 35,000 French counterparts at some 40 sites and in railway stations and airports.
I tell you what, though, everyone I've seen so far looks really sharp, though. Like, like you don't see the super retired on duty, 100 pounds overweight guy. Like, everybody does look very squared away as far as the French police department and the people they're sending. Shout out to them. Oh, this is our scenario. Okay, this is actually kind of rad.
I like their giant rook thing.
Oh.
Let's go.
That's kind of cool.
Reached it with a selfie stick.
Literally. Oh, just go through the glass. What are we waiting on?
This guy's getting shot right now.
I bet you that shape charge is probably giving you an attitude adjustment on the business end, right? So maybe, but he might also be getting shot at. Your boys, they're probably doing it for safety so that, like, you don't get hurt because it's a training exercise. And that's the dumbest place to get hurt as a training exercise because, like, you're not accomplishing anything but reps. But I wonder if in the real world that thing goes bang and just they all run in there probably. That's my guess.
I don't think so because, like, because, you know, just because you adjusted that one room doesn't mean people in the other room
start spilling in from, like, the hallway or whatever.
Yeah.
My other fear, too, might be that that's probably a pretty, like, if it's like a fire engine or something kind of big like that, that's kind of a big old diesel engine and like a humongous ladder. They're probably, anyone watching is going to be like, the fuck is this? They kind of like, let's just move from this window they're going to, you know. This does look cool, though. Because at least when they're coming from, like, the roof, like when they rappel, you literally have almost no heads up that it's happening until right as it's happening. This seems a little bit more dangerous. They have blue guns. Oh, is my boy's gun falling out?
Yup.
Is he ditching his gun? What, in the drop leg holster? He's also left-handed, which is a sin. This is also probably, like, in a city, like in the middle of a metropolitan area, so they're not going to use real firearms for safety's sake.
Oh, they make the rookies be hostages?
Probably. There's one. The shield. Total goober. Oh, dang. These guys are kind of dripped out. They're like, don't die. Now, GIGN is legit. Those are some bad dudes. Those three guys right there that just walked through that hallway, probably the most dangerous people we've seen so far. My boy. Oh, this is kind of a weird presentation. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, we ain't got time. Let's go. That's kind of rad. That's an old helicopter. That is sketch.
Oh, they're adding 2 plainclothes officers for every barge.
Yep. They're there, but you can't see them.
Can't see them. Oh, yeah. Not in the rain and the fog.
GIGN, they do. I think they might finally be moving away from revolvers, but they've been using revolvers since before it was cool and after it was cool. They have stuck with it. Hey, but who can complain? They have kind of a perfect reputation as far as being bad dudes. Yeah, 350 GIGN's a lot. That is a lot of dudes from that elite of a unit. That's the whole thing. That's everybody going. You don't get yelled at when you're the hostage, right? I bet this was a shit show.
Yeah, so all the Rio ones I found were
this
just
had to have been bad.
Heinous.
It's crossed 20,000 kilometers of Brazilian territory. But the Olympic torch's Rio welcome wasn't all warm on Wednesday, as groups of protesters lined the streets to vent their anger at the huge public spending for the event. The games have come with a €12 billion price tag.
$12 billion?
Imagine how many favelas that could have built them.
Golly, bro. And that's like national money for them. Like, that's not... Bro, that'd put a dent in our debt. Like, at least a little, not much, but a little bit of one. Like, Golly.
Money that protesters feel could have been better spent in the middle of Brazil's worst recession in 25 years. On Tuesday, masked protesters clashed with police who used tear gas, forcing the route of the torch to change and delaying the procession for an hour.
Think about that. You're running the torch, and like they're giving you a path, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't go that way.
Can't go that way."
They're currently getting Molotovs thrown at them. Like
you're gonna run an hour the other way.
Excitement of all Brazilians, with many turning out to cheer as road sweeper turned dancer Renato Sorriso paraded through the city centre carrying a torch.
The people are feeling really good. We're so happy that the Olympics are here in our city.
This guy's a paid actor.
I was gonna say the government's not gonna go make him disappear somewhere.
Yeah, how much of that 12 billion went to him? And to say we're all very happy.
We hope it will all
go
well in sports and also the public safety. I want everything to go okay. We have huge expectations.
The Brazilian government has deployed
Oh,
some
look at them, they got armor.
88,000 troops to patrol the
Bro, the amount of like
Stack knee pads on their
physical
arms.
altercations that are gonna happen out of that. You're gonna have the deployment like that, like there's fights happening. Like, oh my god.
streets during the games. The torch will finish its journey at the opening ceremony on Friday. Supermodel Giselle Bündchen, samba dancers and football greats are expected to star in an event being billed as the biggest party there has ever been in Brazil.
Man, I'd be pissed if I was them. I don't know. I come from a pretty ornery country. America's uniquely ornery, and they could be doing a great job, and we'd still probably find a reason to complain. But like,
And we will, because it's coming next here to LA. So we'll get to roast them next. Yeah, in 4 years. Yeah, we'll get to roast them. Nobody else wants it.
Oh, dude, LA.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna clean up Skid Row for the 3 months.
It might be the one chance to like maybe use it as an excuse to just go full, you know, I don't know, wipe the slate clean of the city.
Hey, the weather's gonna be great though.
They're gonna go full. What is it, Ecuador, El Salvador?
Yeah,
whatever?
basically.
Yeah,
just gonna throw people in the ocean at that point, dude. Like, oh, that's rough. Royal Marines. This is just straight up the military getting used.
Well, so it's I think it was a in their elite police squad, their version of whatever France just had.
During the London Olympics might look like, as around 100 Royal Marines and 50 elite police officers took to the Thames for a dramatic dress rehearsal. With a Lynx helicopter flying overhead and fast response boats speeding along the river, this demonstration of firepower offered a glimpse into the security operation behind the Games. Although it comes amid fears attackers could use the capital's waterways to launch their attacks, Scotland Yard emphasised that no one should be alarmed.
It is still a Blue Games. There'll be something in the region of 12,500 police officers deployed nationally. I have always said we would have an element.
You also got to think, like, the RAF is, like, a thing. And, like, you better believe they probably just had, like, I don't know, probably F-16s, like, just flying around. And if you were going up the Thames and they were like, oh, that boat needs to be gone, they'd be like, okay. Thank you, Raytheon. You know, like, you made this easy. Yeah, like, I would be worried
Here's
about
where our 12 billion went.
Exactly.
Of niche military assets supporting us.
I also want to talk about like a country that's been policing internationally, I don't know, for probably
since
a millennia.
No, wait, you mean you're talking about the UK?
Yeah, the US. No, I'm talking about the UK. Yeah, like they've been.
Their Navy's been doing this shit for ever.
I can't think of a time like where they weren't doing that, like in modern history. It's been a minute.
August, Typhoon jets
probably
and HMS Ocean,
subject
along
matter
with
experts here.
13,000 military personnel will be deployed to protect the Games in an operation which is costing hundreds of millions of pounds.
That's
and
adorable.
Thursday's high-profile dummy run will seek to reassure visitors and deter any would-be attackers.
That's. I wonder if that's ever actually worked. Like somebody's planning a thing, sees a demo like that, they're like, I guess we won't. That seems sketchy. I doubt that's how that goes down, but it's a nice idea. That's for the. What is this?
Or to calm down the people.
Probably that, yeah. I don't know if the French Foreign Legion would be the tool I want to use for that, because that's strictly because like even here
that's international.
Well, that too, but they're also like strictly offensive. Like I don't know that they're occupying ground or doing, because like even like the army is really problematic. You can look at examples like in Iraq and stuff like that. If you ever watch any of the camera of them or any like the GoPro camera, go to like, what was it, Funker 530 or something like that, where basically it's Marines or army unit guys having to police a foreign like city. It's never well, you know, they're just like there to threaten everybody. I could see like maybe MPs, and a lot of times there has to be a very heavy presence of MPs, right? But like militaries aren't really trained to do that. Like it's not their goal or their objective. And there's also this like very sterile relationship you're going to have with the locals, if you want to call them that. Like it's not, if you're not from there, and I would even argue it would go that bad even if they tried to do it on American soil. That's why it's expressly prohibited. Is it posse comitatus? I think there's some Latin word for it.
It's posse comitatus.
But that
pussy.
Stop. Stop. But you can't. Like it is expressly prohibited in the Constitution to use the military to police the homeland, because they're just not good at that. They're not trained to do that. That's not their job. They don't have any. Just stop. We're trying to have a legit conversation. You guys are just trolling in the chat. Yeah, law enforcement just has a lot of a. There's a very different objective on why you train the way you do. They're really getting after it here. Kind of wild. What a fun job.
Fun, though.
I was about to say the same thing. I was like, what a blast.
I was like, that looks fun as hell.
This is like a demo of what we just saw. That's kind of rad.
Yeah, I think this is like the close-ups of all the stuff that they were talking about in the other one.
That's pretty cool. Oh, more Rio police.
Yes.
Just thoughts and prayers for our homies here. I dated her once.
Rio's police are marching straight to the international terminal to give not an Olympic welcome, but a warning. We won't be able to protect you. Violence
this is really like quiet. I can't turn it up though.
Yeah, I think the other one was just really loud. They hadn't been paid in months.
Are legitimate and is working towards normalizing the situation, but to the officers, it's hardly reassuring. These two men, Paulo and Joao, not their real names, operate under a
get these favelas behind them.
If I talk, I can be punished or even arrested for this.
They are with the military police, fighting what they call Rio's hidden civil war.
We are numbers, nothing more.
You encounter a drug trafficker armed with lots of ammunition, and you only have 20 bullets. It's absurd.
I mean, that's kind of the par for the course, dog. Like, it's really like Mexico, and even then, it's like their federal police, and then like there's only a handful of police departments on the planet that are better armed than the people that they have to go up against. Like, often. Now we have more people, right? But like generally speaking, I can't turn up the video for some odd reason. Like, this is as loud as the video.
Yeah, that's as loud as it goes.
They just recorded it very softly, unfortunately. But yeah, those two complaints of you being a number and you being underarmed is pretty normal. But not being paid and all of those things, that does suck.
Not being paid for months is different, though.
That's what I was getting at. It's like not getting paid is BS.
Talking to us because they say they've watched their fellow officers die to preserve Rio's image, not to protect its people.
We have a very common saying here in Brazil, for the English to see. I believe that the politicians here are doing everything for the English to see.
For the English
I don't think it's England they're talking about.
Put on a show for public consumption. They say the city's scant resources are used to patrol tourist hotspots like Copacabana instead of favelas like Mare, where the criminal gangs run the streets.
Even at an event like this that is meant to be raising awareness about police brutality, we're constantly being stopped from filming, which is just an indication of just how tense the things are right now. There's a lot of concerns about inadvertently filming armed men.
The government's own statistics.
That lady was pretty explicit. Like, you cannot record here. What are you doing? Anyways, yeah, Rio be shady. Brazil be shady like that. What is this?
The PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games are just 7 months away.
I bet this was also a shit show. I can't imagine. Well, actually, no, I take that back. They probably had it under control.
Also, I think this one was Winter Olympics, if I remember correctly from when I was watching it. So this one probably wasn't as bad.
The police unit has officially launched to serve as an anti-terrorism unit at the Games. It's 27 elite
But I like how they all have an elite Olympic police.
Breathtaking skills. Take a look.
This is a drill simulating a scenario of multiple simultaneous terror attacks during the PyeongChang Winter Olympics. A helicopter approaches the top of an 8-story building. Police commandos descend from the chopper and land on the roof. They swiftly rappel into the building to...
What I say? What's this guy armed with? Some chi energy? Like, my boy doesn't have a gun.
He had a little 6-shooter.
Like,
that's all you need.
The rappel is kind of gangsta, but like, I just don't know what he's armed with. That's the weird part. Like, this is not, or at least it should not be, a like deployment or combat loadout.
Yeah, no
expendable man catcher.
There you
go. Oh my god!
It's on his back. I can see the handle.
Yeah, just
like a selfie stick. It just expands.
Just jump on him.
To rescue a woman taken hostage. While the hostage taker is subdued inside.
You got him with a pistol?
Outside on the...
Baller.
Yeah, I don't know how this would... Whatever. Okay, here we go.
Who have disembarked from their vehicle.
Oh, wait. Go back.
Imagine?
With the backstop of the entire freaking festival behind you, you're just... This is the SWAT episode that we...
Dang,
watch
Doug.
now.
So, let's...
Busy street. Just unload on him. Why not?
I'm not saying you can't do it, but... What's also kind of weird...
Based on those camera guys, just stand there and take it, though.
Is, so this guy's left-handed, right?
Uh-huh.
And he is, he's doing his thing, right? The problem is, like, on an MP5, like, these are your sights, dog. And, like, your straps, like, over your sights. Like, it literally, this would be blocking being able to see anything. Like, this guy's got a red dot. Or... whatever it is. It looks like an aim point clone.
His thumb's in front of it, though.
I was going to say, like, unless it's like a claw mount. And sometimes they're high enough, right, that you can see over it.
It doesn't look high enough, but maybe it is.
There it is.
Yeah, they gave all the terrorists like
The last terrorist
6-shooter
continuing to
revolvers.
resist from inside the car
Why are we sending dogs after armed suspects?
is also pulled
It's
out
China.
by
I
a
should
canine
lower my
officer.
expectations.
The remaining threat is an explosive planted by
This
the
is South Korea.
terrorists. A sniffer dog accurately locates the bomb. An explosives disposal agent dressed
Wow.
in protective gear then transfers the explosive
Bomb
and
catcher.
safely
Why? Why not just pick it up? How is this any more stable or safe than just picking it up? This guy's like a foot and a half away from this thing.
The Northern Gyeonggi-do Province Special Forces Police Unit consists of 27 elite members.
I'd
from the
fight these
Special
guys.
Warfare Command, the Marine Corps, and the Navy Special
I'd for
Warfare
sure fight
Command.
these guys.
bro.
They are tasked with safeguarding the PyeongChang Winter Olympics, slated to open in 7 months.
You tried that one? That like the full dive push.
I'd take this fight. Fat out of shape me would take this fight.
The unit will carry out counter-terrorism missions in the northern Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do province
I like the
regions,
rappel banner opening though.
including terrorism suppression, hostage rescue, and bomb disposal.
The rappelling's kind of rad.
Mm-hmm.
There was some weird things there. I had nothing to complain about with the British guys.
Yeah.
And then GIGN, even if I wanted to complain, I don't know how I would. Those guys are kind of legit, but... What was that? I don't know. That was weird.
So this presentation, the show of force to act as a deterrent. Yeah, it didn't work.
If anything, I'm here thinking in my mind like...
I'm like...
I could do that. That's the place I'm going to get after. I got a political statement to make. Let's do it there.
This one is a training session for protecting torchbearers, and she failed miserably.
Protecting? Bro,
Yeah,
I would just have the, what is it? The like 2007 Ravens defense. You know what I mean? Like just absolute pipe hitters. It would just like immediately folded. Like just folded. Also just have like maybe like a, you know how in lighters you can turn the flame higher or lower? Like give it more fuel. Like just kind of let it be like a little flamethrower. Just give them a
little flamethrower. Just burn them up.
Gotta protect nothing. Dude, suplex.
Can we just let him go?
Suplexed immediately. That's what I'd want to see. Now, what would suck is having a run with the guy. There's probably actually like some legit athlete. You're like, damn it. This guy runs 15 miles for breakfast, you know? Yeah, just euthanize these people. I don't get it. Like, it's not a complicated equation.
There's no problem here. You should use them as like hurdles. Just jump over them.
Yeah.
As a show of force.
I bet this thing's kind of heavy though. This would kind of suck to carry. Tune that guy up. Tune that guy up. Tune them all up. There you go.
I think the biggest threat will be attention seekers, somebody trying to run alongside and grab a bit of the glory. I'm sure.
This guy kind of looks like the cops in... Just saw it. Step Bro, I love you.
We're already on thin ice with the euthanized, so...
Step Bro, thank you for monetizing the likely unmonetizable stream. This guy reminds...
I really wanted Snoop Dogg to light a joint off of the freaking Olympic torch, and the fact that he didn't made me so sad.
Oh, was he there?
Yeah, he carried it for a while. He was one of the runners.
That's gotta be cool.
Like in France, they can't do nothing to him.
Yeah,
just real quick, do just like a novelty-sized joint.
But just like and
just like light it off of it.
That'd be legit. This guy reminds me of the like police commissioner from V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
He's got that vibe.
We'll get the odd protest every now and
like
then.
where was his dad in World War II?
I would say is why would you want to spoil somebody's big day in the sun by protesting?
Are we
He was asking, are we the baddies?
Yeah, there it is. What a weird detail. I would hate that detail. That sounds terrible. Oh, shout out to Fort Worth. These are some of my homies here.
It's a company that provided private.
All right. Also, Clarice Tinsley has been delivering news for like 20 years, if not more. Shout out to you, girl. She was actually at a ceremony I had to go to in Arlington. She was there. It was pretty cool. Shout out to this lady.
Video security in neighborhoods has grown to a national network of technology, tipping police to potential criminals in a certain area. The Flock security
Stop 6. She said a certain area. Get out of here.
System has helped Fort Worth.
820, let's go. I just realized where it was. Yeah. It's
I recognize that.
This is probably like Rhodesdale at 820. This is great.
Police multiple times, twice this past week, including a wild chase where a man used a shotgun to fire on officers. Fox 4's Sean Rabb reports.
The Flock security system operates by capturing images of vehicles. Here's the key component connected to a license plate reader. Increasingly, Flock helping police nationwide and here in North Texas.
Flock?
Saturday, Fort Worth police remove a box of bullets from a car after arresting the driver following a chase from East Fort Worth to Oak Cliff. Police alerted by a Flock security system that the stolen plates on the car linked to an aggravated assault.
We now work with over 2,500 cities across the country. The majority of those are law enforcement agencies. And they're reporting to us that they are solving somewhere between 700 and 900 crimes every single day with the use of this technology.
Now, I don't know anything about Flock, whatever this is, right? So, Keith, and I'll pose you this, right? So we work a call, and let's say it's a domestic, right? Outside of approaching safely or whatever, what's one of the first things I do if I'm approaching a domestic? Who's thinking about it?
Well, he's thinking about what he can say as opposed to what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! Keith's like, I'm figuring out if she's hot, right? Like,
Well, I mean, first off, you want to make sure you've got the right address.
100%, right? We're gonna
100%,
super
make sure you got
verify
the right
that,
address.
right?
You don't go in there and hear somebody yelling at a TV, and all of a sudden you go bust through, and it's the house across the street.
Right.
So you want to make sure your information's good.
Yeah.
Approach quietly and get out, look, listen as well as you can.
Yeah. So
before you make your approach.
So you're trying to identify points of ingress, egress. Most of the time, it's also listen. But like, if there was a vehicle in front of that house, that tag got run, right?
Yeah.
It would get attached to my call. It'd be part of that stuff. If I had to work a report later, let's say they fled in said vehicle, I'd attach that to my report. So I don't know how this is any different from like just tying something to a license plate, because you can flag license plates through TCIC or NCIC to put a hit on names and date of births, aliases, like any of that stuff. Any person you're running in the call, or anything that you run that can be tied to a person, like guns, like serial numbers, those can be tied to offenses. That's how you know they're stolen. Like, I got to learn more about Flock, but it's my only beef that I have with the way that they're portraying this system is they're acting like it wasn't something we couldn't do before.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to replace humans.
I guess.
So I think it's accessing like every like city camera as opposed to just like.
Oh, so it's a city camera doing it?
Right. So I think they're just essentially adding license plate reading and then apparently like gunshot detection
Crash in Haltom City,
standard
August
city
30th.
cameras. So I'm guessing it's just software doing the
Another
license
chase
recognition
involving
on the
Fort Worth
back end.
police. That red gray Toyota was running from police and the front seat passenger gunning at the officers. some of it caught on surveillance cameras. Again, flock security systems alerted police to a stolen vehicle.
Flock cameras, they are cameras that we've been able to place in certain high traffic areas throughout the city that will notify officers if it detects a license plate where either a wanted felon is involved with that vehicle in some way, if the vehicle is stolen, something that lets us know, not for minor offenses, but major offenses like this, technology has been a game changer. This is a perfect example of that.
And the arrest of...
It was likely his initiative that caused it from being there. So, like, temper your expectations. He is. I'm not saying anything bad against Fort Worth's chief. I'm sure he's a good dude, but
a man who allegedly used a drone to try and drop drugs and cell phones and MP3 players at the federal medical prison in Fort Worth. Law enforcement found surveillance video that showed the man with the drone and
also with his like Autobot sticker on his car, like,
and his red SUV, but couldn't see the license plate.
Once they use our devices to identify that key piece of information, that really unlocked the case for them to go find that suspect vehicle, find additional pieces of evidence, and ultimately make the arrest. It's very important to understand that these cameras are obtaining vehicle descriptions and license plates, but they're not identifying people. There is no facial recognition. And in fact, there's no personally identifiable information.
I was about to say yet. Because China's, they can tell your mood, dog. Like, they're over there giving you social credit scores and stuff like
within
that.
Flock.
Protecting personal privacy while helping with public safety. The Flock system giving police a bird's eye view.
I'd be interested to see, because like the only downside is, like, let's say you're obtaining a warrant based off of this.
This Reagan guy.
Yeah, we're gonna give this guy some time. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not a good idea, because I can definitely see its use case and it making solving cases easier, but I don't know. Keith, you dropped this one, yes?
Yes. I did.
I'm gonna let it play because it's incredibly short. But
also,
anyways.
what's the difference between police and sheriff? Good question. Me as a police officer, I police the city. I'm a city police officer. And a sheriff, he's an appointed individual by the people. A sheriff typically has a term of 4 years and is appointed and voted on by the people. So there you go. Now you know the difference.
He's reading a Wikipedia article?
Yeah.
He must be, but since Never Cop never actually worked with any of them, the sheriff is not appointed. Not appointed and elected. I mean, he's elected, yes. He runs for office, but it's just the thing here is I know what they were asking. You know, like I said, down here in Texas, it's like, well, you know, the sheriff came by. Well, not the actual sheriff came by, but a deputy came by.
Yeah.
You know, so they are county. They are, you know, he's just such a putz. So,
Freaking Dan said, "Thank you for schooling me." To better address the question, the sheriff's department, the sheriff's office, elected officials are voted on by the people. Appointed positions, you have a committee of representatives that appoint something, or an elected person will appoint something. You can think of like a Supreme Court justice is probably the most appointed and talked about appointed position you might have. Keith, you're making me a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry.
There it is.
There we go.
In an appointed position, right, you would have like the mayor of a city appoint somebody. That's not the case here. Literally, you vote
like a city manager, right?
Yep.
Typically appointed. Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be appointed. In this specific instance, your constituency, the people in a county, will vote for who they want for sheriff. Typically, the sheriff is the only comparison would be a sheriff to a police chief. And even then, a police or municipality would actually be within a county, which would be the sheriff's office, right? So sheriff, think about like the state government, right? County government, city government. A chief of police is only going to work within a city. There's only also one sheriff versus a police officer. There's every single sworn person you have. And then you have deputies that work for the sheriff's office. There's also some delineations in authority as far as like what your objectives are. Specifically where I was at in Tarrant County, the Tarrant County sheriff's office would deal with stuff like protective orders, or they would do like eviction notices. I never once in my entire police career, despite having thousands, if not tens of thousands of residences within where I operated, never once issued any of those. I never went up and served court paperwork to somebody. I didn't do any of that. That was purely a county job. Same thing with jails. We had a municipal jail that was city specific, right? But if there was a county charge, I would hand them off to the sheriff's office or just the county corrections agency, which is a whole different thing. They have to deal with corrections, not law enforcement. But so like a very different objective, I guess, as far as policing is concerned. Maybe he didn't want to go into that much of detail, but like it's a pretty. I don't think he knows. He probably doesn't know. The other thing you got to think about is. It seemed
like he Googled it before he answered it.
Yeah, the county in general is almost always going to be like there is not a single stitch of land unless it's unincorporated that isn't covered by county, which would be deputies. When you think about the sheriff's office, think deputy, right? Versus city, it has to be a big enough city to merit police officers. This will say police, as his adorable little costume says, but theirs would say sheriff's office, but they are deputies going under the authority of the sheriff's office. Sins, I'm just going to get him since he's here. This is likely a Baofeng radio, which is kind of weird to have on a uniform. That there's not a single police department or county or deputies or sheriff's office. There's very few security agencies that use Baofengs. Your local armed security guy at your quinceañera is gonna have better than a Baofeng. That's a weird choice. Only having 2 pistol mags is also weird, and also having them vertically on your chest is not going to be conducive to reloading. So this probably just looks cooler than it actually works. Having your handcuffs in this configuration here where they're all the way locked in, I'll show y'all. It's a terrible idea. It just tells me you've never had to handcuff someone before. Where'd my handcuffs go?
You want to use mine?
Stop. Potentially, if I can't find mine.
I'll hand it to you through the screen.
Here's oh, no, not a set of handcuffs. I got to find my set of handcuffs. Either ways, a set of handcuffs, right, with the, when they're all the way unlocked like that, they're going to be very floppy. And so what you want to do, you want to have them with enough resistance that they will actually have some pressure to push against so that they'll cycle all the way around to snap on the wrist is what you want. You'll need real handcuffs or
it won't quite work.
But those are probably the same amount of authentic as the ones
but
that
you
are
can
on this
still
waist.
see kind of.
Yeah, the whole idea is
really
you want resistance on those links, and if not, it will not cycle over when you push to like actually compress them onto someone's wrist. This is a really bad idea. Also, what can happen is in the middle of fighting or whatever it is, it might just like cycle over and like loop and kind of get stuck on something on the way to handcuffing, especially if someone's doing hidden arm or it's like a contested hand, right? Like you're all hands on and you've dogpiled a human being. This is a pretty bad idea.
Well, just walking through a door, he's going to get caught on the doorknob with him there.
Agreed.
So.
The Guardian light is kind of a meme. That's what's on his shoulder. I did indeed work with one police officer, and he had one of these until he got made fun of enough that it went away. I'm not saying having a shoulder-mounted white light's not a good idea because you do have to write, and oftentimes what we end up doing is the whole like under the armpit thing with like a big flashlight. I have used like a little baby flashlight where I clipped it on. I have a whole video to this.
Yeah, go watch our flashlight review.
Yeah,
it'll show you. I like the little The fact that the little one you had, you could like clip to a hat too.
Yep.
So if you
there's a bunch of different ways to kind of put it somewhere.
You can just
that's more useful than this. And
you could use your weapon-mounted light and just point it at your notebook.
There you go. You could do that too. But
just hold it in your mouth on your ear. You can write.
I might bless the red light, especially for low light operations where you don't want to ruin your night vision as much, or you don't want as much eye strain. But the blue light on this makes no sense. Likely given to him. That's kind of weird.
Well, it came with the whole Halloween set, so
agreed. So the only other thing I'll point out is where this IFAC is placed here. Most police officers, if they're going to carry an IFAC, which is a like medical device or a medical pouch that has medical stuff in it, it's typically set behind you. It's so that you can still reach it, but it's behind you because it needs to be accessible to someone. Like, let's say I get shot in the leg, right? And I'm having to I can still stand, but I'm clearly injured and I need medical aid. That is for that person to be able to use it on me. If it's in front of me, it's taking up space where my taser could go. It's taking up space where an extra set of handcuffs could go. This is not being used in like a pinch. It's not something I have to reach for under duress or quickly. It's something I will have if I'm, let's say, in a life or death situation. I'm using lethal force. That's why my gun is set up the way that it's going to be. If I'm trying to go hands-on, that's kind of why my handcuffs are in an easily reachable place. Versus your IFAC doesn't need to have front set priority. And then if you're working nights, having all of these white pieces on your uniform are weird. I can tell that this is because he's in academy still, that they have not issued him a badge, because his badge is not on the uniform itself. So when he says me, the police officer, he should be saying me, the recruit, because your uniforms come with a place for the badge. It's just weird. It's a weird look. Don't be like this kid, please. Anyways, I'm done roasting him. I'm the police moral authority. Wait, what's Nathan saying? Is he being problematic? But even though you're state police...
he's just explaining what deputies do.
Yeah. And deputies are the intermediary. Yeah, they're the intermediary between state police and local.
He's only problematic on Discord.
That's fair.
He's fine in chat.
Yeah, that's
fair.
He
behaves in chat. He doesn't drink in chat.
Oh, what is this? Bullet County Jail. Oh, it's the dumb laser.
Oh, they ended it? Oh,
maybe because they don't work. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
Hold on. I bitched about this last week.
The jail is no longer using the electric gloves that were the focus of a WDRB Investigate story.
Anyways, I don't like that kid. I'm going to make it public. So
Jailer Brian Whitaker tells WDRB News what he calls taser gloves are not being used while the jail undergoes a review of all policies and procedures. The gloves are marketed to law enforcement agencies as a non-lethal alternative and generate a low voltage shock. WDRB revealed a case in September where jail investigators say a jail employee used excessive force by using the gloves on an inmate who was handcuffed and shackled. The jailer is still allowing the use of regular tasers.
See, I want to point out, though, a shackled, which means you have there's a special kind of handcuffs you'll put around someone's ankles to keep them from getting into a sprint or even being able to kick you unless they use both feet. And then handcuffs, which obviously in a jail you get cuffed to the front. They don't cuff people to the back. And if you're shackled and handcuffed in a jail, they're likely also attached. This is a very compromised fighting position. There's no fighting scheme where that's the orientation you want to be, I guess, unless you're a little Irish guys.
No cuff jitsu?
Yeah, no cuff jitsu.
Jailer Brian Whitaker
but
tells
notice that all he does is reach out and try to get this taser glove thing to work.
WDRB News what he calls taser gloves are not being used while the jail undergoes a review.
And it was completely ineffective.
Yeah, it didn't really do anything.
Crazy. A taser would have been more useful. Also, there was 3 officers present here.
Gloves are not.
And I wonder why they broke contact.
Investigate story. Jailer.
They just because I think they were probably just trying to get him into this room. And so as soon as they were able to get him away from them,
oh yeah! If you're just trying to get in the room and you're just tasing the guy just to disengage, that's dumb. Just put him on the floor over here.
They go in there, they struggle with him a bit. He uses the taser glove, does nothing. Big dude over here on the left, I think, is the one that pushes him over onto the little sink thingy. And then as soon as he's like fallen down, they all run out and lock the door.
That's weird.
They were probably shocking each other.
Yeah, see, he pushes them, and then he's like, okay, everybody out, and they close the door on him.
They shut the door.
Yeah, so
he's probably shocking each other like he was shocking everyone there.
Well, he had his hand on the other officer with the glove, and then he had the glove on the guy. Now, I'm assuming they're individually activated, but like, look at his left hand.
That's hilarious.
Dumb.
Get on your belly, Mr. Pancake!
That's hilarious. Oh, what is this? This is 32 seconds.
Yes, those nuggets. It's basically like the dry stun on a taser gun, except way worse.
Allegedly. I'm not convinced still.
That's what they claim.
Damn, he's roasting people. That's community policing. Roasting people at car meets. I actually posed, so we had a Mopar car meet, and for them familiar, Mopar is Dodge. Dodge had their like performance line of cars were Mopars, and of course we drove Dodge Chargers. And I had just become, well, it's not that I became senior enough, it's my shift was so bad that all of the senior officers left, and so there was nothing but rookie officers that had no say-so in where they got to go. And anyways, I had this really nice, at the time, I guess it would have been like a 2019, in the year 2019, Dodge Charger. And of course, it's got a handful of things that make it cool. And I like popped the hood and let them look at it. And I turned on the lights for them so they could take pictures like with the car, like behind their car and next to it. It was hilarious. But I let somebody do a very wicked, I think it was a TikTok. I think TikTok had just come out. Or maybe it had been out. I was very out of touch at the time. But I like turned on my siren and everything. And they did like a little car meet thing there. It was adorable. But that was community policing. It was like 8 guys hanging out at a parking lot. Though. Like it wasn't like a very serious. They had like a big meet that was like 200 cars. But they also like got the permit. Knew which parking lot they'd be at. They were very cool.
It was like a Cars and Coffee type thing.
Yeah, basically. They had like a couple of really cool little bars and restaurants that like gave them discounts to do it there as long as they said that they were from the meet, and it was a cool deal. They also self-policed a lot. South Korea. It's
yeah,
more...
so this is the one that shows you like kind of the variety of equipment that all these different countries are working with. That's Qatar, which we saw earlier.
Bro, they picked like the A team for Qatar. These are some enormous. This guy's enormous. That's a big boy. This old timer
Germany's like
retired on duty.
Yeah, Germany sent like spare officers.
They're like,
it's gonna be a bad look if we send proper people to march on France again.
I was gonna say, I know they have some just absolute pipe hitters like as cops, right? Yeah. That are just it's like the rejects from the German soccer team. So they're like 6'4", like 190 pounds, like they're big dudes. Yeah, they didn't send.
No, you got to send the family-friendly squad.
Yeah, they sent the DEI team here. What is this baton though? This is kind of weird. I do
That's
like
the Poland basher. It's in case they see a Polish person.
I do like this glove setup here because you could just kind of like quick pull your gloves off to kind of put on your fighting gloves. I do like that arrangement. I still hate everything about putting your handpiece really high up. Here, I prefer it closer so that you can like talk to
Use it.
Yeah, but
so you'll have kind of a slightly different arrangement on there,
bro.
Too.
These UK,
the UK
cops did not inspire. Also, what is this baton, dude?
That looks like a Smith & Wesson baton with the trumbull stop.
It's a little just shorty here. These are
He got
terrible.
excited for a second.
Yeah, these are.
That's a heavy one too. Smith & Wesson makes a heavy expandable baton. It's like a bat.
These are terrible looking uniforms.
Yeah.
Like Juan and I made like a.
These look like kids on a field trip. Yeah,
effectively,
backpacks.
Yeah, effectively a student film where I didn't have any tactical equipment because we were like teenagers. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We literally ripped up backpacks and sewed them together into vests.
This?
And they look better than this. Like hand sewed them together and they look better than this.
I'm not mad about Canada, dude. Yeah, but they sent a yoked guy here, man. I like their nameplate too. It's actually kind of nice.
They have a very clean looking uniform.
Bro, a little baby IFAC here, probably with like a tourniquet and something else there. This is kind of weird. So I wore basically identically this underneath my uniform shirt, not over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a uniform shirt over that, which looked baggier than this does. But this is kind of weird. This and them in South Korea both had what we would have used as inner vest as outer vest because they don't have any like molly attachments or anything. They've kept everything on their belt, but they don't have a lot of equipment with them, which I find weird.
I wonder if it's like policy for everybody to have their vests on the outside, and they had to use their inner vests on the
potentially.
outside.
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
it's like just to be recognizable.
I'm not impressed with the UAE. One, hands in pockets is like a sin, but I guess if you don't have guns, I guess whatever. But this is a weird. This is like a flak jacket. This thing's enormous for being, but it does have pouches at least. But I don't know what they're for.
Well,
Snacks?
they're to hold everything that she doesn't have because she doesn't have any pouches or a belt.
I think this this might be French police though.
He's the pack carrier. Well, then maybe she's just bullying him into carrying all her stuff.
Bro, this person's armed. Oh, it's Spain.
Yeah.
That's why.
But see, no French police carry all their stuff.
Bro, Slovenia showed up, dog. They showed up with Toyotas. These are kind of rad, too. These are nice. Yeah, I was surprised at how many of these guys were unarmed, but I guess there's probably some complications, like legal complications. It also might depend on,
because if they're like the UK, a lot of them just might not be certified to carry a weapon.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then France has also got to look at those like certifications and say, do we think this is adequate enough? Because you're carrying in our country, protecting our people. Do I trust you with a firearm? You know, looking at you, LAPD. Sorry.
Yeah.
What is this?
What do you consider an appropriate time to use that firearm compared to?
Exactly. So I get the call text, right? So the call text is likely woman screaming for help, the third party caller, but they gave an accurate address, right? I don't know that I'm letting the dude walk, you know, like.
Yeah, just go in your house.
But he could have a hot pot of water on the other side of this camera. We don't see, like, what are you doing? Like,
or he could actually have a hostage that might now be a dead hostage.
I don't know how I feel about that, unless they felt like they didn't have a detention, but like. There's nothing this guy would have said to me that wouldn't have at least been like, well, you're going to stand over here with my partner here, and I'm going to go make sure I don't have a victim. Like, that simple.
I'll bring out the screamer to you.
I'm going to bring out the screamer. Why is your parrot screaming for help? The hell is this man watching in his free time? Or that?
He taught him to say it. Oh, if he's had him since he was a little kid, I could see him teaching him that. But
I'm still probably. Can I do a safety sweep of your house? I could go off consent. I'm good with that.
Yeah, because you know what? This is a good plan for serial killers.
It's a great alibi. Yeah, it's a great alibi, but like, I don't know. That's a little weird. What is this guy? I don't remember this one. Oh my god, this is actually pretty good. This is top notch. This is very, very much top notch. Oh, it's more Rio de Janeiro, but we're dunking on these guys.
Out of order.
When Rio state government dreamed up a new type of police force for the slums, this right here, this is the scene they had in mind. Vando Dionisio studied administration in university, but he decided he could help more people in a uniform than in a suit.
I think that is a gift
with
of
an
God.
FAL? Yeah, I bet.
Because this is essential to save the life of somebody.
Brazil has the highest murder rate in the world. Most violent crime happens here in the slums known as favelas.
Let's come.
So Rio started a new program, the Pacifying Police Units, a kindler, gentler force with stations built in the communities they'd usually been too afraid to enter.
Before, here it's a place, very dangerous place. Now you see children walking here.
Since the police began embedding in the favelas about 7 years ago, the program's been a success.
Homicide rates have come down by a whopping 65%. Violent crimes also come down significantly.
That's been the long-term trend. But over the last 6 months, murders, assaults, and property crimes have started to go back up. A couple of days ago, here in the favela of Santa Marta, police shot and killed a drug dealer, and they're scared the gang's looking for payback. The rise in crime, says Unit Commander Tatiana Lima, is caused by a new generation of criminals. Youths have taken over the leadership role in the drug gangs, she says, and they're not worried about the consequences because of a lenient juvenile justice system. Nowhere is that more obvious than in this sprawling slum, Marais. Things here were supposed to change. Marais was going to get an embedded police unit this spring in time for the Olympics, but the government just slashed the country's security budget. Among the cuts, Marais' police force. My taxi driver told me not to film as we entered the favela. I soon found out why. We were forced to stop at a homemade roadblock. A young man with no shirt on approached the car and pointed a pistol at us. He demanded to know what we were doing here. He eventually let us go after he made sure we weren't cops. Police still can't enter this
Dang. That's sussy. I don't know that I'd want to stay there. That was your encounter.
favela. Instead, they're sending in the soldiers like they did during the World Cup to make sure there's no trouble during the summer games. But as the military clamps down on the favelas, crime, like a balloon, rises elsewhere.
And so some of the members of these gangs are looking to recoup some of their profits by moving into property crime.
Muggers and thieves, those will be the most likely dangers for tourists. The favela of Santa Marta alone gets 10,000 visitors a month. They expect that to double during the games.
Let's go.
Even Rio's most optimistic police officer says he doesn't know what to expect. Still very unpredictable.
Exactly.
His hope.
Got some tore up FALs. They're kind of drippy though. I kind of want one.
They've seen action.
They likely have seen a lot, actually. Wait, and ironically, they probably have just seen more training and use than like actually like action. But they've been getting held. If you had to hold the gun like that the whole day, this would suck because these are super heavy. But that's probably why they're all like worn. Like the finish is worn off of them from getting pointed so much. Shout out to my boys. Oh, this is a nice one. Okay.
The Eagle has landed in the back seat of a patrol car. Yes, it was in trouble, but it wasn't a jailbird. It was in need of being rescued. An officer in Arizona was patrolling traffic around roadside construction when the crew there spotted the eagle under his patrol car, seemingly in distress.
Shorts on patrol? I have beef. Oh, it's the Mojave County. Never mind. I forgive you. It's got to be hot as shit out there. Never mind.
Using a blanket, the officer picked up the bird and carefully moved it to the back seat, giving it time to cool off after being underneath the car. Experts from an animal rescue center came to pick up the eagle. Apparently, it was a baby eagle that was separated from its parents and likely would not have survived if it wasn't brought into their care.
It's kind of a cutie patootie. I'm not gonna lie.
I want huge for a baby eagle.
I want an eagle. Eagles get big though.
They do.
I got to go to the Ren Fair. It has like a birds of prey exhibit, and I got to see a horned owl, like the ones that they have in Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
it's legit.
Oh, Legend of Zelda? Weird.
Yeah, it's legit.
You would mention that.
Terry Norman's one.
Weird you would mention that, Josh.
You're so stupid. You with these merch.
For sale at our merch shop.
We're almost done, boys and girls. Then I'll give you guys OnlyCops with a Z. Sounds like an illegal eagle to me.
Find more videos.
This officer was ordering lunch. Another officer couldn't help but wonder.
What did you order? Chicken number 10, Big Mac, extra fries, yum yum yum.
While this police officer was ordering lunch.
That's an older one.
Bro, that's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah. What is this?
Police officers are always trying to prank each other. So when...
Not remotely true. I never once pranked a firefighter. Ever. Actually, legitimately. I was off working as opposed to cuddling with my boyfriend.
This is clearly day shift, so...
Yeah. You didn't live.
I was what?
I said you didn't even get to live if you didn't get to go into their firehouse and rearrange stuff or steal stuff from them.
I did not, unfortunately.
When Officer Mag found his local fire department completely empty, he knew what must be done.
They were all out on a call.
And without wasting any time, he quickly set out to see how much mischief he could cause.
I can hear the combat. Take the battery. Take the battery right there.
Yeah, all areas clear. Retreat.
You're coming back. Oh, I gotta hurry. And we won't mess with the fridge. Oh yeah. Barely missed it. Look at that. They just got back.
Firefighter.
I feel like I would have clogged their toilet or something. Like I would have done something fun. Like these were mild inconveniences. But I guess that's like criminal mischief at that point. And you videotaped yourself doing it like an idiot.
Pepper spray their pillows?
Oh my God. No, you got to pepper spray the coffee pot.
Oh.
Like the inside of the
What you do is you go up and you take their sheets and you hide all their sheets and stuff from their little beds.
That's experience talking.
That's experience.
It was wonderful.
I'm trying to think of other dumb stuff you could have done. I'd have taken like the power button out of the remote. Like you just take your pliers and just like pull the power button out because it's like a little rubber stopper. Basically, it's just a little cap on it. I'd have taken that off. No TV.
He should have Crisco'd the base of the pole.
That would have been incredible. There's a couple things you could have done.
Yes.
This is from experience. What is the point of, hey man, we got to live a little. Just fucking with the coffees and declaration. That's fine. I'll take a fight with firefighters any day. Does this guy have a stop sign?
It's a halt sign.
Yeah, but like, it's an actual like stop.
Yeah. It's
Where's the sound
got a little light.
Stop in the letter of the law or the color of the law, or whatever it is.
Name of the law, Mr. Pancake. Bundespolizei.
I think that means papers. Halt papers.
Jeez, you're probably right.
We are security.
Oh, look at that thing.
38,000 German federal police officers want to be measured by that motto. On water, fire.
They're kind of dripped out.
On land, and in the air. A strong force for Germany.
Sick.
The federal police.
All right, it's working on me.
I'm vibing so far.
It makes sense because they did invent film propaganda way back in World War II.
That's true.
Friggin', yeah.
The birthplace.
What was her name? What was her name? My professors would be so pissed at me right now for not remembering. Liechtenstein? I don't remember.
I couldn't correct you.
Yeah, but yeah.
Dan HRT said stop sign with a nightlight.
The Federal Police Department in Hünfeld, Hessen.
Hünfeld.
Approximately 250 members of the Federal Police were gathered by Chief Superintendent Jürgen Bohl for a large-scale exercise.
Jürgen. It's a strong
Leni
name.
Riefenstahl, that was her. And you would recognize all of her
Pat
stuff.
Pat already
in so many
got
films.
you with it.
Literally anything you recognize as propaganda was Leni Riefenstahl in World War II. And it's been copied for forever.
There's a soccer match where two opposing fan groups are present.
Bro, I didn't think about that. A soccer match that gets out of hand, probably pretty accurate.
All the freaking time.
And they're like, so these dumb drunk idiots, got to put them in the camps.
Journey to the stadium was peaceful. But there was a violent altercation during the match, which has resulted in injuries.
Verletzen.
A demonstration is being simulated, with federal
PP,
police
hon.
officers acting as violent soccer fans.
Oh, I would love to do that job.
Just them being off duty, basically.
Mm-hmm. That's so much more fun than the stupid DUI testing stuff that you can do here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be an angry soccer fan. I don't care if I get beat up.
Yeah.
Everything
it
within
can't be that
reason.
bad.
Because you can't
The
get mad at
folks
me
in
for
the
like
blue
swinging
shirts
and
are your
punching.
colleagues who will be on duty with you next week. So
And if you
act
punch me
accordingly.
back, you fail.
Let's go.
They've got those vehicle-mounted water cannons. Those are fun.
The federal police officers accompany.
We should see if
I
we
was
can
not
get
there
a...
in Birmingham, Alabama, so I don't know how to use a water hose to subdue a crowd.
Oh my god. Bro, we should see if we can get a police department to agree to do training like this, and then we get just Patreon members to be the angry soccer
fight.
fans.
I'm down.
Yeah.
It's the fans who have come from far away towards the local train station.
A punch, a kick, a strike.
Hate them. Hate them. Like never before.
The police
These
have surrounded the
translations.
fans who pose a risk. Two platoons with reserve forces and a water cannon unit are standing ready at a
Bro,
distance.
what?
Damn.
The chief of police, Michael Busse, is leading the operation. Suddenly, opposing fans of the home
a chief
team
doing
appear
work?
and provoke the crowd.
Hey, you wankers!
I don't think that's what he said.
Was that the... Hey, wanker. Somebody's got to clip that. That's incredible.
Come here, you assholes.
The situation escalates as fans breach the police cordon. The platoon leader halts the pursuit on orders from the commander.
Cordon them off.
Just let them beat the hell out of those guys. It's fine.
That's right. Let them fight.
Freeze the situation and take charge of the cordon at your current position. I will follow the forces.
Michael Busse decides to deploy the reserve forces.
Das ist erstmal von der Lage abhängig.
Baton's out.
There's a couple there that are like, oh.
Consider the situation
Really
before
struggling.
taking action. If it's peaceful, then there may be no need for intervention with adequate strength.
For those in charge of the watch year, the federal police conducted 1,650 operations related to soccer. The number of attacks.
Wait, how many?
Officers. Last year, the federal police conducted 1,650 operations related to.
1,000. That's more than one a day. Like,
1,600.
bro, what? I bet an
That's
operation's like
4 a
something
day.
small though. Like, I bet you an operation is like 2 guys got in a fight and arrested somebody.
Well, it said the federal police. So
That's what I'm getting at. But I'm saying across the entire country, right? Like,
that's a lot of wankers.
That's a lot of wankers.
Soccer.
I wonder how many of them were the same wankers.
The best confidence that will all work out in the end. You have to have the right character.
Where was his grandpappy a couple generations back?
He's in Argentina now.
Yeah, probably.
Fireworks are not a crime. Get lost, you bastards.
Fireworks are not a crime.
Get lost, you bastards.
Make no.
Where's the Blastoise?
I repeat, the police
They're throwing tires. There's the Blastoise.
refrain from throwing objects at the police.
Ganz klar, Polizei.
Barricade on the main road and advance.
Fireworks are not a crime.
Hey, you're skipping all the good stuff.
Federal police
like
officers.
an hour long.
sustained
I'm trying to skip
injuries
through
I
on
know.
duty.
It's only 9 o'clock.
Who
We can watch
reported
the
an
hour.
injured person in the police line? Friend or foe?
Friend or foe.
Approach the cordon on foot from the rear and pick up the injured person.
Man,
Platoon
I bet they're
officers
faking it.
have trained paramedics who provide.
She is not faking it. Oh my God, bro.
Provide first aid to injured colleagues. They practice treating simulated
Oh, wait.
injuries, including
I think it's a
That is
simulated
injury.
injury.
That's a
I
simulated
was
injury.
like,
Yeah. Once we got the
golly.
close up of it,
head wounds.
yeah.
The evidence and documentation unit
That's an Israeli bandage. Nice. You can tell because this little clip it's got on it. Very
uses
helpful.
specialized vehicles to identify criminals.
So you
in
can't
the
tourniquet
crowd.
the head.
These vehicles have
Look at that
advanced
thing. It's got like a
technology
submarine
to quickly
thing.
pinpoint suspects.
This vehicle has a mast with a video camera that can extend up to 4 meters.
4 whole meters.
Degrees in
Camera that I hold.
Bamberg is one of 4 new federal police sea patrol vessels cruising the North Sea. Hans-Joachim Paulsen is the commander of the 19-strong crew.
We're currently monitoring the wind turbines. We have the gas pipeline and a data cable here. They are critical infrastructure.
Bro, data cables are legit. That's a whole thing. Oh, bro, the usual suspect. Howdy to you, my friend.
For Germany.
Since the attack on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipelines, Germany has paid more attention to protecting critical infrastructure. The Bamberg monitors shipping traffic, is used for sea rescue, and hunts down polluters.
Polluters, not terrorists or anything like that? They're
No,
gonna
they don't
hunt.
got
How
those.
dare you pollute?
We're currently using a drone. Later today, we'll fire the alarm shot with a long-range weapon. We're still in the training phase. Using it is still special for us.
The Bamberg was retrofitted with an onboard cannon after it entered service. 3 federal police officers are responsible for the onboard armament.
This is a Bofors 57 Mk3 gun equipped with 57mm ammunition used by the federal police for dangerous situations.
To shoot at polluters?
I mean, like, that's kind of a whole ass gun there. Is that Megan?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here,
Yes,
show him
the
the
patch.
deputy's shirt. Show merch. Hey,
It's
merch.
Deputus.
Deputies.
Deputus. You guys got surprise Megan.
Yeah. She just got back from dinner. She's all hyped.
It's an artillery gun with a range of over 40
They forgot to take the lens cap
and a
off of
fire
their
rate
gun.
220 rounds per minute. That's almost 4 rounds per second. This state-of-the-art gun is also suitable for air defense. It has very high rotation rates and can rotate 360 degrees at a lateral speed of about 50
And shoot its own mast here, like
5 to 57 degrees per second.
Looks like a Dalek from
This
Doctor
enables
Who.
us to engage air targets that move very quickly in the Mach range.
In the Mach range.
I'm collecting the life preservers.
The crew changes every 6 days. This crew has not yet fired the new onboard cannon. Today,
The situation
Police constable gets to fire the cannon?
We're currently conducting a technical inspection of the cannon's interior.
He's delivering an
The barrel is
eviction
equipped with a
notice, and if you don't
recoil
get out, he
buffer,
just
which
shoots
slows
you
it
with the
down.
ship
Oh
cannon.
my god.
There's also a liquid inside that needs to be checked, and our colleague...
Germany's hardcore.
Sometimes there are situations at sea for which the normal police are not adequately equipped. When we encounter
call the
certain
Navy.
ships, for example. With our ship, we can just break through steel, shoot rudder systems, or damage engines. We can fire a shot across the bow. The water column is almost 20 meters high.
with violent soccer fans.
Oh, we're back to this?
Police
Hell yeah,
line
dude.
advancing.
The different kind of cannon.
Caution fireworks.
The line of police officers advances.
Yeah, they got in
The
trouble for
rioters
using the other
retreat.
cannon on soccer fans.
We want to keep our opponents together to limit their ability to cause
Geneva
trouble.
Convention said no.
The more freedom they have,
That's not even hitting
more
them.
tools and
It's literally misting them.
Yeah,
This
bro,
is
I'd
so
enjoy
weak
that.
sauce.
I'd be so happy.
Well, it
I'm
depends.
like, it's hot
probably
out
kinda
here.
cold in Germany.
weapons they can
I
gather like
guess.
stones or other objects.
Hold the water. Water stop.
There's a fancy truck.
The federal police officers with the red marks
Oh
on their uniforms are part of the evidence and arrest unit.
What are you doing?
On your knees.
Was he eye gouging the guy?
Jesus, with the taser glove?
Keith is with the taser glove. Is this an approved technique?
I approve.
Keith's about to move to Germany, dude.
Said I approve.
He's going back
One of their
in.
tasks is to pull individual offenders out of the crowd.
They got the heavy Swiss batons. They got the...
Assaulted police
Face
officers. We have
fighting.
a case of attempted assault here, which is why we've taken hold of him and are searching him.
Shut up.
That's always good. When the officers come, you're reassured. After all, they've been trained for special measures and operations.
The red...
It is always good.
It's always good when the officers come. Said every badge bunny ever.
Prepare for enclosure. H-130, enclose.
Michael Busse orders the officers to detain the violent fans in a kettling.
Kettling.
Cordon hold.
Hey, why are you touching me?
Hey, is that what they teach you?
All cops are pigs.
The next step is to prepare for the identification of the rioters.
With a gun?
What are you?
I'm walking. Why don't you walk faster?
The
This is
federal
weird.
police have set up a processing lane with service vehicles for the entire group.
Out.
The federal police are now taking people away one by one. They search them, take down their personal details, and if necessary, file criminal charges for resistance
file
to
criminal
state authority
charges.
and for breaching the peace.
Come with me.
Now it's getting better. Very nice.
The scenario seems real, even if this is an exercise.
The more aware you are of potential outcomes, the less surprised you will be. Because this is what we do every day.
This is what we do every day.
Andreas Niklasch from the Evidence and Documentation Unit analyzes the video footage.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be tearing up some of these like recruits. I'd be like, or these training officers. I'd be like, can I get like a super soaker? Can we get like OC to hit them back with? Like, give me something. Basketballs.
Throwing something at a police officer.
You get a herding dog at least?
This is the process.
The police
In a rise,
the police serve as the looking very
A train supervisor's probably...
west of the target gives
5 ton
Or below cap. In an emergency,
Oh, good, the lens cap's coming off.
The officers have to clear the back.
now
Shoot
it's
at the
gonna get
camera.
serious.
The
Yeah, don't
deck
hit the
is
camera,
closed
man.
during shooting. The watch commander warns nearby ships via
Achtung.
radio.
all stations. This is
On the
German
rotary
Coast Guard
phone.
vessel Bamberg on VHF channel 69. Gunnery exercise will be conducted in the
This ship's so
military
old that they
practice
can't use the internet
area
while he's
Echo
talking on that.
It's probably not that old. Keith's older than this ship.
Delta 44. All ships are requested to keep a minimum safe distance of 5 nautical miles. Coast Guard vessel Bamberg out.
The deputy commander prepares the ship's hospital for an emergency.
Which runs all.
Stupid.
A safety measure.
Twin-sized bed.
Police Master Tristan York and Police Chief Lucas De Venta take up their position on the bridge of the bus.
Additionally, we use sensor data from the computer for operational monitoring to assist the operator in
Karen
the fire
said it
control system
north.
and help lighten their workload. This support is provided to ensure that the operator can focus on their own tasks without being
German
overwhelmed.
for boobies.
The tension is palpable. The commander initiates the firing procedure. It follows clear rules.
Okay, then here we go. Prepare and load one shot. Command alarm at bearing 355 right, distance 1250 meters.
One shot. 355. Distance 1250 meters. Is prepared and loaded.
Weapon loaded.
Weapon loaded. Video recording started. WLO to all stations. Question safety. Radar.
Radar is clear.
Modar.
Modar is clear.
Modar.
Weapons technology.
Weapons technology is clear.
Watch commander.
Watch commander is clear.
Sea room observer.
Sea room is clear.
Airspace observer.
They got a female voiceover person.
I really wanted him to just do like a high-pitched voice.
Seems legit.
Like an audiobook.
WLO to commander. Message. All stations clear.
Order, prepare to fire.
Ready to fire.
Oh, they used the whole key system and everything.
Ready to fire.
Once the gun has the target in sight, it automatically follows it and compensates for the movement of the waves.
That's pretty slick.
Command, fire alarm shot, fire.
Alarm shot fired.
Hit observation.
Water column detected.
Weapon safe.
The alarm shot has simulated a shot across the bow of another ship. The Mk3 can fire 4 shots
All
per
that.
second.
Commander to FLS operator, command, fire.
Fire.
Oh, that's kind of rad.
The 57 caliber gun is capable of firing various types of grenades. It also has programmable fuses for time-delayed detonation. The main magazine has a capacity of 1,000 rounds.
Sick.
Hold the weapon.
Gun safe.
I'll take over.
Yes, sir.
The commander and the crew have successfully completed their first combat mission.
That's it. From a technical
Successful.
standpoint, there's nothing to complain about. Everything is flawless.
My mind
is part.
150,000.
At this location, the group leaders are responsible for managing the daily service. We have a personal coordinator who distributes the orders, and they
Bro, this guy's got like a whole digital interface for his radio. That's kind of rad.
aviation security colleague, and at the very back we have the border police and general
And
case
they say
processing.
American police is militarized. Yeah, we don't have
Additionally, we have
freaking battleships.
Not a one.
American cops.
Not
a
a
single
single
freaking
one.
battleship with a grenade cannon.
Detention cells. They're currently unoccupied.
Our water
The
police have to
federal
like
police
get on the boats and grab you, and then if you decide to swim away all the way to shore, they just have to follow you.
To be fair, that most agencies don't touch a coast, but even the ones that do touch a coast, like, oh, it says error. Your stream has been temporarily blocked due to detected videos that don't belong to you.
What?
What's going on?
Might have been. So was it this one that we're watching, or which one is it? Usually it's a 5-minute warning, based on something that was copyright. I don't know if it's this one or
Which
if it's
one was
something
it?
else. I don't know. Let me find out.
Oh,
Chat doesn't seem to have noticed yet.
they just did.
Oh, they just did. Okay. On my end, it still says live now. Oh, let me switch account. Kick me out.
Picnic. Let's see.
Instantly apprehend in.
Maybe it's the video we're watching?
It might be if it just happened. Suspended for policy violations. Put this here. On the back end, it still says live. It should come back if we just don't watch thing for a bit.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, temporarily blocked, blah, blah, blah. If you plan to continue, please ensure. I really wish they would finish the damn sentence. Please ensure that the content owner has added your channel to their allowed. Stream health can hurt your stream things. Yeah, it should come back in a couple minutes if we just kind of hang out.
Okay. Maybe. Das is bad. We will at least send you guys. I wonder what it was.
I think it was. It must have been this video because that's the one that it would. Yeah, see, we're back.
Are we?
We're back. Yeah, it's showing the thing.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's usually like when you're watching something you're not supposed to, and there's like a block on it. It'll give you. It's like a 5-minute timeout, and then if you keep doing it,
I wonder.
It goes further.
You think because it's the German?
I think it's because it's like a documentary, and it's probably a news station documentary or something like BBC style. So they probably have a. My guess is, if we were to like dispute it or whatever, they wouldn't mind, but they probably have it automatically set to where they just don't want you replaying their entire documentary.
Either way, we'll add this to our TOS. I'll give you guys a pretty long after party. If you guys would like to join the after party, you guys can do so one of two ways.
Now y'all know what I have to deal with all the freaking time trying to get these damn episodes up.
Dude. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. And then they'll get up for a little bit, then they won't be up for a little bit. But you guys can join it.
SWAT is on our Patreon.
Either through our Patreon, which is as little as $1 a month, or becoming a YouTube member here, as well as little as $1 a month. It gives you direct access to our YouTube, or not to our YouTube, to our Discord, and our Discord where we do some stuff. We did a super fun off stream. We played a Jackbox game, and even Kinsey played. So it was real off the rails. But I owe you guys at least a little bit of time in the after party due to the stream likely in peril now. But if you guys would like to do all that stuff, we should hopefully have some new officers react that hopefully stay up. We'll see. CBD
News, ABC News for the vid of SRO training.
Okay. Where's it at? Mason, is it in...
You got a link?
Let's see if Mason's got a link.
Is it the active shooter training one? I found that one. It's like 2 minutes long.
Let's see. I'll send it to me.
Yeah.
Tuesday strams. Yeah, because all I'm seeing is all the ones I pulled.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'm going to DM you it.
SRO training. Let's see it.
Thousands of Lowcountry students are days away from returning to school. Thoughts of safety most likely on the minds of many parents and students. The Berkeley County School District and its partner law enforcement agencies are taking that to heart. Now, a warning, some of the sights and sounds you're about to see and hear might be intense. ABC News 4 photojournalist Jason Tai takes us to this year's active
Texas
shooter
Ranger.
drill at Goose Creek High.
Definitely a lethal shot.
Some of them have never experienced
that simulator. This one right here
Takes us to this year's active shooter drill at Goose Creek High.
Definitely a lethal shot.
is the worst simulator I ever interacted with. I had my police department paid well over $250,000 to have this system. And it was not great.
Some of them have never experienced this type of training.
Why is it so
I think it brings us home as close as you can, obviously, to the real thing.
Oh,
it gives us an opportunity to go back and replay it, which we don't get that in life.
Pulled up a good angle. School security is ever evolving.
Yeah, if you got a rifle, code a rifle.
Every year, I feel like we get
What? Sorry.
Better as a group. SROs are going to have
gum?
to...
They have sim guns. But...
No, I said just chewing gum.
Oh, probably.
Code a rifle. Every year, I feel like we get better as a group. SROs are going to have to overcome. God forbid if we ever are in that situation, but that's something that they're going to have to overcome.
You know, it's funny. So it'll give you hit indicators.
Overcome. God
depending
forbid
on
if we
when you
ever
shoot.
are in that situation.
Watch here. You ready for cop MOA? That's the hit indicator. That is not an insignificant miss. That's sailing it into that parking lot full of kids.
But that's something that they're going to have to overcome and push through to get to the threat. We're actually going to implement a scenario from Uvalde, from that.
Okay.
Did y'all miss all of those shots?
Both of these guys are deceased.
Yes.
I don't think they missed. It's just the only downside to most sim, like the safer the sim round gets, the more you don't know you're getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming they're just kind of giving them stimuli here.
From Uvalde, from that elementary school. And because
I will say this, though. Oh, boy, here with a rifle would have given you an attitude adjustment really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But that shotgun's giving you a pretty big attitude adjustment back. Like, this is likely the system for the training, like the VR system. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was called, but it's literally just a projector on a flat wall. It was terrible.
Something that I've never really seen before, and this is my 10th year in the school district.
That was very accurate for what happens to these stupid sim guns. That was not her. That was the sim gun. Hey, Keith, you ever use these?
No, I didn't.
They were terrible. Like they were close. Like it was way better than just having a block of wood in your hand, but they were just malfunction. I had like borderline fever dreams for like weeks about my gun not working because of these.
Even though it's 5 agencies, I know that all 5 of those agencies have the same mindset when it comes to their officers attacking a active shooter type situation.
Tim Knight, Berkeley County Schools Safety and Security Coordinator, says he's discussed how the mass shooting in Uvalde impacts their school district with local law enforcement and district employees.
It's better than no training. Let me give you that. At least it's better than no training. It's just like there's very few people in law enforcement circles that are subject matter experts in active shooter response. And I mean that truly. SWAT, though they have the skills, like the physical skills, they're both there in great shape. They have great tools. They have whatever. Very little of their training is what you would consider like dynamic, go in there, get it, and go solve the problem, right? Patrol, even less so. I will say this is where traditional policing kind of smokes modern day policing. Is modern day policing, we do what's called slow and deliberate room clearing, right? Whereas back in the day, they taught nothing but dynamic entry. So Keith, when he was taught, if he was ever taught room clearing, would have been get in there and get after it, right? It's more effective in these instances, but this was also taught by like the Marine Corps to cops, which is, again, if you had to go pick somebody that's a government entity that's good at finding the person hurting people and getting them to stop, it would be them. They're much better suited in both equipment and skills on doing that. The problem is that it's often the police that are the only people that are there.
Mm-hmm. And it's also 1 out of 20,000 things that you're likely to do, as opposed to
it's such an infinitesimally small chance that you're the guy that ends up having to go. It's good to have something.
It's winning the worst lottery.
Yeah,
and so you're basically if you're teaching that over something else, the likelihood that you're getting.
Yeah, and I will address this. So Millennial was bringing up alert, which is really, it's way better than the training they have here, right? Like alert's probably as good as it gets on that. My only criticism for that, I had a very good, very squared away guy, and I'm not going to name him because he's a good dude. He went to the class I went. He was an alert instructor, and he is currently teaching now police officers, I believe in, I think it was North Dakota, somewhere like that. But he is their like top tier cop in that state for teaching alert training. And he took the protector mindset class I took, and he smokes 2 civilians. And it's not that he's a bad guy. He was very good at everything else. And clearly he's got good reps on, I would call it crisis management. So when you're going in there making decisions, it has to happen very quickly. Like that, it's a pace that would make your head spin when there's a lot going on. Like there's people yelling, there's people moving. I might have multiple bad actors. Maybe I need to send people down this hallway versus down that hallway. He had a very good hold on that. He crushed the class more than most of us, right? So alert training clearly can increase your likelihood of success, but like the baseline skill of doing it's so incredibly niche. Like it is a very, very, and I'm spoiled. I got to take it from a by a year retired Delta Force operator, but they're really the only people that have the true flatline skills and reps to say, this is how to do this successfully. Like every time. This is almost like I'm not going to say guarantee because it's gunfights are like anything. It's a wild thing. But like there's a fitness element to it that's really hard to get over because the amount of time you'd have to dedicate to that would be very difficult. We don't do a good job, and this goes down from dispatch down, right? Dispatch doesn't have a lot of practice in this, right? This is crisis team. Everyone shut the fuck up and let's figure out what we need to do to go control the scene. On top of that, like how do we control points of ingress and egress? And then like there's little tiny pieces of that team that eventually have to break off and do other tasks. So like as the tip of the spear is going through, right? There's going to be pieces of you behind you that are creating safe zones for people. All of those individual tasks, though alert probably does a good job of training on that. It's hard to get an entire department to have reps on that, or worse, like an interagency thing to do it. Alert's probably the best case scenario that like the taxpayer can afford to do, and it's clearly it was pushed out after what happened in Uvalde. It's just like getting to see it firsthand. I'm less than a year now out from getting that training. The certified alert instructor was like, dog, this was the best stuff that's out there. And he's a very squared. He was the scariest 45-year-old man I've ever met in my life. But it's just different. And I think coming at it from somebody that I'm lucky in my current job, I get a lot of really good, expensive training for cops. You just better hope you get the guy that like lives, breathes, and eats it in his free time. Because even just one block of alert training that's going out right now isn't really enough to keep your skills at the level they need to be to actually intervene in this successfully, if that makes any sense. And there's still always the roll of the dice with how fast you have to do this. Go to the news site. They did one today. This is old.
I sent you it, I think. If it's the Berkeley one that was uploaded like 4 hours ago, I sent you that one. It has 4 views, so.
Let's see it.
They can't get mad at us for watching
Knight
it because
says
we're giving them. Yeah, Millennial's saying he's doing the. He's training them in the alerts current training block, which aims to address Uvalde's failures. So they're trying to go back to the older mindset of dynamic entry.
Bro, dynamic is so sketchy. And it was weird. I was a very humble. If you ever get it, I'll drop it in the. I'll see if I can drop it in the chat. But you'll get to see a lot of the training blocks we had to go through for CQB, and it was fast. Like I got yelled at twice because I was like, I need to see it, and he's like, nah, dude, you don't have time for that. With what we're asking you to do, you do not have time for that. I had a real.
I wish I would have uploaded more of the footage instead of so much interview, but.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I mean, it was
reasons.
yeah. There was some ITAR reasons as to why we couldn't upload a lot of those training blocks because they're not. Who was teaching it to us was like he's not allowed to teach just anybody. So
almost time to head back to school, and while students are getting their backpacks and
shout out to
school
Kyle
supplies
Morgan, he's
ready,
a good dude.
the school resource officers here in Berkeley County are preparing in their own way.
It's a new TCO mandate for alert active shooter training to be trained every 24 months.
I will say this. So,
officers here in Berkeley County are preparing in their own way.
That's pretty fast. Versus what we were seeing before, and this is also different. Every student's a little different, right? He's seeing pretty much none of this room. That's about a half second to be like, I don't think there's anybody there. To here's another second gone. He's already like 50% of the way into the room. He's already completely in the room. That's a lot closer to what you're gonna see in what would be considered dynamic room clearing.
It was an action-packed day inside Berkeley.
He's also closing the distance as opposed to standing off on something, which is also kind of what's being taught.
Berkeley High School. While Berkeley County school resource officers trained ahead of the upcoming school year.
I love this week. This is our 11th year doing this training week with our school resource officers.
The SROs spent the week preparing for numerous scenarios. The focus on Tuesday was active shooter training. With the help of instructors from the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, the officers ran through drills and practice response using a simulator.
What we're trying to do is give them the basics of how to come in here.
All of the firing we did was live. I was there. We didn't have any red guns. I think we went through it's like 2,600 rounds in like a day and a half. It was wild. And then there was obviously the sim side of it, which I don't know. We probably went through another like 3,000 or 4,000. It was a lot. It was a very expensive class.
Here and identify a threat to move through the building as fast and rapid as possible, find the threat, and stop and eliminate the threat.
Tim Knight, the Director of Security and Emergency Management for the Berkeley County School District, says this year's training featured new elements like preparing for incidents outside of the building and on school buses.
Oh, fascinating. They're even doing like seeing and identifying that somebody's potentially armed. That's fascinating. That's actually kind of cool.
Wait, what happened?
So they're letting. I thought they were just letting kids off a bus.
The Berkeley County School District says this year's training featured new elements like preparing for incidents outside.
But see, they identify someone who's clearly armed. So this guy had a gun on him, and then the backpack, and they're going straight to disarming him. That was a very gentle takedown. This is how you know he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm not trying to give you days off." That was very, very gentle.
For school bus related incidents, whether it's an assault, whether it's a weapon on the bus, any kind of contraband that an SRO gets called to go to handle.
Berkeley County's 54 school resource officers are contracted from 5 local agencies, the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, plus the Hanahan, Moncks Corner, Goose Creek, and City of Charleston Police Departments, all sharing one common goal: to keep schools safe.
We want our parents to know that when they're...
I think, too, as much as it's a perishable skill, and Millennial will kind of ditto this because he's in the training circuit for it, but like, yes, it's a perishable skill. Yes, you'd like to see this quarterly, but it's crazy expensive. Like, even qualifications, right? So it's very common in America that you only qualify with your pistol once a year, right? Which is like woefully inadequately enough to keep yourself sharp, right? The problem is even just that qual by yourself, you're probably looking at like, I don't know, 400 rounds, 500 rounds per officer. And that's expensive. Not to mention, like, there's the wear and tear on the gun itself because it now requires more maintenance. I'm now having to expose either my staff, like my training staff, or the officer themselves to lead. Then you also have to think about taking them off the street to do that. I am now paying them to show up to a thing to not answer 911 calls, right? Like you're hurting manpower to make sure that they're staying trained when they barely have enough manpower to even do the job. Like it's harder than it sounds. I know I'm in the group that would like to see it more, but it's also not like realistic to think that would happen or is an easily accomplishable thing.
Their children come to school this school year, that they will have a dedicated, very well-trained school resource officer in their schools.
Officials say the training also includes working with mental health professionals. Reporting in Moncks Corner, I'm Jordan Siopa. Count on 2.
Wonder if it's for like identifying kids that are like showcasing high risk like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Red flag laws for kids.
Yeah. So Mason says they told him to be calm in front of the camera. He fought a lot harder without the muse there.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
He says, no, play it cool, dog. That makes sense though, because they don't want. And I will acknowledge that a lot of people won't like what effective training looks like here, and you'll see it a lot. It's more acceptable when you see it in like the Marine Corps and the Army because they're hoorah and I want tough guys, but they don't often like seeing the police do that because it is kind of a bad look. But it's funny. It's a meme now with Keith saying sweep the leg, but like real effective policing is a violent thing. Like it's not, doesn't look great. It's hard to have to explain to the public, but it is often a very violent thing. Shout out to them though. It's good to see that they're making the investment, because even if the officer's only getting it once a year or once every other year, it's cumulative throughout their career. Like they're able to build on those skills. Every single time you go back, you are going to be better. That's any training class. Unless they're teaching you something stupid. But he said one more. Okay.
Trying to find the ABC News 4 one, but I can't find it.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, it's all the same. Hang on, maybe this one. It's the article about it. Let me see.
Okay.
Maybe this is it.
We'll see.
I'm assuming Mason is in Berkeley County since he has so much information.
All right, Mason. I'm ready to be impressed. Does this play?
Gotta click play. And then full screen on the left. Are we getting an ad?
Oh, Refuge Medical. I'll let this one play. They're good dudes. I know the owner for this. I've had cigars with these guys.
Well, you know, if they ever want to sponsor.
Hey, dog. Shout out.
Thank you for joining us. We're getting you ready for school in Berkeley County. It's where school resource officers were
short-ass pencil
today, but instead of hitting the books, they were hitting the stairwells. Charleston Clark reports on what went into the active shooter training and if BCSD has all the SROs it needs headed into the new school year.
Probably not.
This is our 10th annual SRO summer training program, where we bring in all of our SROs from all across the district.
Guy's wearing the same hat he was in the other one.
I think it's all same day. But what Mason was saying was that the other news agency showed up way late, and so they got like the tail end of.
Oh, I see.
What's going on?
This is still slow and deliberate. I'm assuming this might be like, let's say they've already had contact and now there's safety sweeping the rest of the school, which takes time. When you got a big
safety sweeping with bullets here.
No, that's what I was getting at, is that you're treating it as if you're still potentially running into a suspect, right?
Let's say he's shooting.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm getting at. Is like, but like this isn't indicative of like fast and deliberate. Like fast and deliberate, nobody stays in the hallway. Like everybody's going in the room. See how this is happening
So you're
outside?
saying they have an idea of where he is at this point, and therefore they don't have to
or
be...
they've already taken care of one person. They don't know if there's a second actor. And so they're systematically having to go, but that's still slow and deliberate. Like they're currently working under slow in non-slow and deliberate. Like when it's dynamic, literally the time we stopped sprinting was when we were done and we got the bad guy. Like it's a very different pace. Like I can't impart on you, and I've gotten a ton of both in and out of law enforcement training. Protect your mindset training, or the truly actually dynamic, which is hostage rescue training, which is literally what you're doing here. It's stupid fast. Like it is actually running, not in any, I don't know.
Summer training program.
That's my only complaint.
All of our SROs from all across the district.
BCSD.
Like this is slow and deliberate.
Apparently this is the old one, and that's why. So this is the old. So this is the year old.
Okay.
Bro, I don't know, man. I looked.
I'm trying.
I went on their website. Like they got nothing.
Yeah.
They're not making it easy in any way, shape, or form here.
I will say this though. This is very good tactic. Let's say you don't know, right?
Here,
there's just
this one.
There's just a lockdown or whatever. It's not that this isn't valuable tactics. I think there's a lot of good skills that translate to both, but like if there's active victims, this is a huge step up from Uvalde, but it doesn't solve some of the issues with a slow response.
Last one, Josh. I just sent it. I think I found it.
I'm letting this one play while I do that.
For the worst case scenario.
Okay.
This year we have 51 school resource officers, the most we've ever had.
And if this is not it, I'm timing out Mason as revenge. There's so much crap.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie though, these guys are dripped out.
They hit the stairs and a simulator room.
Mason, you need to join the Discord so you can just link me directly.
Without actually being into the real thing.
Hey, let me see your hands.
These suck so hard.
Up there.
I hate those. They're not useless, but I just don't like them because you lose so much of the dynamics in the situation. And even these trainings, we're not doing this ad though. It is kind of cute though.
Nah, you know what? We'll let it play. I know the owner or whatever you said.
I know the owner. I actually did in the other one.
I've been on a boat. They need a cannon on the front though.
Kind of adorable. Yeah. I bet this is a fake game.
Oh, you can skip it.
That's the type of training
It's the same lady.
The same lady, bro. Good on her keeping her job.
active shooter training.
This is their Clarice Tinsley.
But as we count down to the start of a new school year, law enforcement is preparing for the unthinkable.
That SPR would be the last thing you hear. Not because he got shot, but because they're horribly loud.
Web Right gives us a look at the training.
Oh, this was what we saw. This guy was going in a lot. That's fast.
Be wise, protect your eyes.
Yes.
And he was.
School security at a national level. Not only
wow. That was a sussy hand posture there. I was like, man, he's not going into custody.
State, but also national.
A little sussy.
Everybody on your knees, how behind this?
It's repetition, repetition, repetition.
For school resource officers, it could be the...
This is a Mantis system. Interesting. That means that's a real gun. Shout out to them.
Most important training they ever do.
Unfortunately, these things are happening, but there's also training value out of them as well that we can learn on how to do this better. And so when we see these different scenarios and stuff like that, we partner with the school district, see what they would like to see, but also the things that we're seeing that are trending and some things that we feel like will be good tools for our SROs to know.
This year, one of the new drills put in place deals with incidents outside of the school building.
Still on school campus, but outside, that they have to navigate and neutralize those threats.
This hat gets me every time.
And we've also added in a school bus piece.
She wearing the same shirt.
A lot of our
Berkeley County School District hat.
Really had to deal with a major incident.
I think she was wearing the same shirt.
So the training today,
bro,
they must do this on the same day every year.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
We'll focus on dealing
There's a
with
grown-ass man.
He goes in first.
It was definitely something we felt like
For real though,
that
bullet
they need
sponge,
to have at least a good working knowledge and understanding on one, how to get on a bus, how to effectively get on a bus and get on there and either stop or eliminate the threat on a bus.
It's still slow and deliberate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's faster than true slow and deliberate, but like I literally, before we actually got into scenarios, because they beat it out of me before we actually got to scenarios, they're like, that's still too slow. And I was like, dog, like, I ain't seen it. He goes, hey, it's going to shoot at you. Don't worry. You're going to find the bad guy. You're just trying to hurry up and find him now. I was like, oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I'm with Millennial here. I think what I prefer about the Mantis system, other than using a sim gun, like an actual sim gun, is you get to have the exact same rifle. It's the same optic, it's the same flashlight, it's the same sling, and it's yours. You're getting to utilize that in this environment. The only downside is you got to protect your eyes because the laser can, like, I'm sure some lawyer somewhere is like, depending on where you're at, you can hurt your eyeballs. But it is good to at least dry run this stuff and see how you would move with your equipment, because your equipment is a little different than sim guns are a little weird.
Teachers weren't present today, but they get training throughout the year.
This is the Mantis system.
So they know their role
very smart.
as well.
if you have an exterior door close to your classroom, you know the threat is on the other side of campus. The best option may be
you're dry, my friend. You're threatening him with nothing.
to evacuate your class, get them, out of the building, off campus to a safe location. But we teach our teachers to, we want them to be.
Yeah, these are. I think it is Simunition, which is the company. Mantis for the win, Jacob. Jacob got to use my friend discount for his.
Empowered at the end of the day, and to have that ability.
I want one.
They're pretty rad.
They make them for revolvers?
No. The worst decision to make.
They make something for them though.
Working for you, Web Right.
That's exciting.
It's good training. I will not disparage the training. I will, however, say, like I said, it's the reason why law enforcement officers aren't the subject matter experts in that specific skill. It's a very different, it goes against all of the see it first and be right and all of that. These are less complicated, equations, but they require a very different mentality. It's like the one time where the warrior mindset makes sense. The one time where you're like, yes, here, that's what I want. I want the guy that's going to run in with almost complete reckless abandonment and go in there and go do work. But it's complicated. There's no good solution. I do think alert's still probably the best case scenario for getting it done, because you're at least walking through the mental exercise of figuring it out, getting a handful of skills there so that you know what to do. But it's hard. There's not a great solution to that problem, unfortunately. Except for shout out to your boy at Titan Armor or whatever. He's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, for everybody else, I will indeed hang out with you guys in the after party. You could join the after party one of two ways, either through our YouTube membership here, or you can go to our Patreon group, where the added benefit of being part of our Patreon group is you get to see episodes that don't show up here on YouTube for reasons like how we got taken down before.
Mm-hmm. We got one more SWAT episode that I won't even try to put on YouTube.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. So we got a couple
we
more of
have to
those.
do the whole series on Patreon.
We do have Brooklyn Nine-Nine that just recently came out. You got a twofer there, so we're extra spoiled.
Bonus episode.
And then we definitely have some Southland that's coming out. We have new Southland full episodes of those. Those actually were very good. I think we got 2 of those, didn't we? Or we just do 1? I think we did 2. The Southland episodes?
I think it was 2.
We did 2.
Yeah, and then we have a couple more rookie episodes for you guys. We got into season 2 for the rookies, so
yes,
those should be coming out here shortly. I shouldn't have anything coming up that's going to get in the way of these live streams, but if you're new here, we do it twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30-ish Central Standard Time. I think we've worked out the kinks. Please leave in the comments whether or not somebody's quiet or whatever. Put it in here. But anyways, I want to thank everybody that stopped by. Go ahead and drop a like on this stuff and subscribe if you're not. We do this stuff every single week. I love you all. Identifying good marksmanship when incorporating movement, full-size targets. Millennial Cop gets it. He's over there training people and stuff like he's important. But either way, I love you all. I will see you guys in 2 days or like a day and a half. Keep saying
less than 48 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.